load up.
Jeez, I'm coming. Here's your appetizer. One order of deep-fried free thought.
More like a big pile of bullshit.
Yeah, and this week's bullshit comes to us courtesy of Pastor John Hagee, everyone's favorite.
Yay.
Biggest bullshit artist I have seen in quite a while. And today he's going to tell us exactly what he thinks about us atheists and what we ought to do with ourselves. Let's have a listen.
They're saying that the Ten Commandments have been taken out of the courtrooms and out of the schoolhouses lest we offend the atheists. Let me be very clear. This country was not built for atheists nor by atheists. It was built by Christian people who believed in the Word of God.
Alright, let's just stop right there.
What is this idea that atheists are offended and therefore they've had to change everything? Okay, we didn't take out the 10 Commandments and we didn't stop prayer and Bible reading in school because atheists' little feelings we hurt, about it. We did it because it's illegal. It is unconstitutional. So if you want to whine about the 10 Commandments not being out there, which the Ten Commandments itself says something about graven images, so hello, what were you thinking?
Really?
But, if you want to whine about that and prayer and stuff,
well, this is
because it's illegal.
This is a big church-state separation.
Yeah, which obviously
issue.
Hagee does not believe in as a theocrat.
And if I remember correctly, one of the biggest church-state separation organizations out there is led by, or started by...
Are you talking about the Americans United for... Separation of Church and State?
I believe I am.
Yeah. Barry Lynn is a United Church of Christ minister. That's a very liberal Christian denomination.
Okay.
And yeah, they're very active in that.
It's a Christian organization active in a church-state separation. It's not led by an atheist organization.
Yeah, a lot of cases, this is all kinds of people. It's not just atheists who want to uphold church-state separation. But, in Hagee's world, it's just the evil atheist, that they got their little tender feelings hurt, and they've cried about it, until everybody caved into them. And that's not the case.
Well, let me think about this. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance was thrown out of schools by Jehovah's Witnesses. Supreme Court case ruled it unconstitutional, making it...
yeah, you can't force a student to say it.
Can't force a student to say
it.
it.
So that was Christians who fought that fight.
So that was a Christian organization, whether you call it a cult or not, The prayer in school was a non-Christian, fortunately, but it was of another, I believe it was Jewish.
Yeah, I think Jews and atheists and even some types of Christians, have stood together shoulder to shoulder on this. So, for Hagee to pretend like, all of us Christians support this and only you atheists don't is very disingenuous. Yeah. It's just one of the many lies that he spews out of his mouth like it was.
In this first part, he's basically come out and said that this whole nation was founded for Christians, by Christians, with Christians.
And he wants us to be very sure of that. What I'm very sure of is that this nation was founded for everybody who wanted to come over here and be free.
That's right. There was Christians, there was deists, there was atheists.
There were Jews, there were Muslims. They had a different name for them back then.
Right, and those are the ones who were, being involved in being in consideration for, in the signing and the creation of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. Okay, so they were trying to get away from England and its mandatory religion that was Christian.
And not just that, but they wanted to get away from the model of the Puritans, which is what Hagee wants us to go back to. The Puritan model is either you obey and worship the way we say, or we'll either fine you or put you in the stocks, or we'll kill you.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the kind of theocracy that a lot of the founders wanted to get rid of. And, what's so amazing is Hagee acts like that Christians are all this one big monolithic group, and they founded the country for it to be Jesus-topia or something. But, the fact is that they had different factions back then. You had people like Patrick Henry and John Jay and Sam Adams, who were like, oh yeah, we need to put Jesus Christ in this Constitution, and this needs to be, made clear to Christian nation. And then you had folks like Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, James Monroe. They're like, James Madison, sorry, and they were like, no, 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 we need separation of church and state. So, when you say, well, this country wasn't made by atheists, that's largely true, but guess what? It wasn't made just by Christians either. It was made by secularists.
It wasn't made by Christians for Christians.
That's right.
And that's basically what he was saying. This nation was created and founded by a variety of different beliefs.
And the secularists won the day.
And the secularists laid it out there so that everyone could have an equal share of the pie, so to speak.
Because the only way to do that.
It wasn't sided like it is in England. England, it was like 99% of it is you have to have this religion. The other 1%
Church of England
is going to jail.
Right. And, like I said, Patrick Henry was on one side of the issue. He was kind of on John Hagee's side. Thomas Jefferson was on the other side. And if you haven't taken the time to read some of the ugly things Jefferson said about Patrick Henry, you really should. Because he thought Patrick Henry was a moron. And if Henry's anything like Hagee, I tend to agree.
Okay. All right, let's go on to the next part.
To the atheist watching this telecast, if our belief in God offends you, move. There are planes leaving every hour on the hour, going every place on planet Earth. Get on one. We don't want you, and we won't miss you. I promise you.
I've got an ad for him. I've got to find it.
That sweet Christian love.
That sweet Christian love. That's right.
Love your enemies. Bless them that persecute you.
This nation that was founded, by secularists, across, a multitude of different beliefs, for everyone to have a piece of this pie. Suddenly, we're not entitled to the pie. This American pie that was, designed so everybody could have, their own
freedom of religion
and their own freedom
from
religion.
religion.
And suddenly, you're not entitled.
No, as a matter of fact, it's not just that we're not entitled. We need to move.
Yeah, we need to leave.
Oh, I got news for him. It's really funny he means getting on a plane. Last time I checked, when strange religious people got on a plane, what'd they do with it? They drove it into a building.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know of any atheists that do that, but, really? You're going to tell us to move? And that's really so stupid because... I don't know about you, but I had relatives in the Revolutionary War that fought for this country. I had I had ancestors in the Civil War that fought. I am descended from one of William Penn's closest friends who helped him draw up the lines between Maryland and Pennsylvania. I am a direct descendant of Daniel Boone's brother. How much more American do I have to be?
I don't know. My family tree runs back into the Allegheny Mountains, and from there it's moonshiners and Indians.
Yeah, and I know that you actually had close relatives who were killed in World War II.
Yeah. Fighting
under the American flag. So my question to Hagee is, who the hell are you to tell us to move?
This nation was founded, and we have the Constitution in place giving us the rights and privileges to believe or not believe, and have freedom of or freedom from religion.
Yeah, and this ass clown is going to come up and tell me that because I don't believe in the same God that he does, that I need to move. Actually, he needs to sell that megachurch, pay some taxes, take the rest of the money, and go buy his own island.
Speaking of island. Christians, do you find your delusional quest for a Christian nation to be falling short? Do you believe everything that Fox News tells you? Do you find yourself being misguided and believing in an imaginary war on religion? Then do we have a deal for you today. A deal so grand it can simply be called heavenly. It's a heavenly deal indeed. There is, in fact, hundreds, if not thousands, of private islands that are available online. Simply go to privateislandonline.com, select your region, and
purchase this island. But how can you afford this? Simply, I say, sell those megachurches that you have been sitting in every Sunday morning, just wondering and staring at a wall and a single elderly man preaching at you constantly and telling you you've lived in sin. But wait, what if you could sell this megachurch and trade it in for a private island? There's a thought. There's an idea. But wait, if you own this island, you can rule who comes and goes to this island. That means that no atheists would be allowed on this island. You're saved. You're no longer being persecuted by the supposed atheist persecution. Sound too good to be true? Go to privateislandsonline.com and see for yourself, with special guest editor Sir Richard Branson. So don't get stuck in the growing secular society. Sell that megachurch and purchase your island today.
This ad has not been approved or endorsed by privateislandsonline.com or any of its subsidiaries. It is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. I mean, he has lived off the bread and butter in Texas. He's not paying any taxes, and he's making buku money through that church.
I imagine.
Living large in every way you can imagine because of the promise of freedom. Where else can you go in America and be free to turn your hatred into a religion and profit from it?
I don't know.
And yet he's going to turn around and say this. He is an evil jackass.
Yeah, exactly. An asswaffle.
Totally.
Our coins say, "In God we trust." President Obama, you recently told the foreign media that America is not a Christian nation. You're absolutely wrong. We were, we are, and always shall be a Bible-reading, praying Christian people.
Okay, right there. The coins started, 1870? It was somewhere in the Civil War.
Yeah, in the
And
1860s.
that was only just to make everybody feel good about the war.
Yeah, because, I mean, America was torn by the Civil War, and it was like, we're going to look to God to fix all this. And you see how well that worked.
Oh, yeah. So this was almost 100 and some years after the Constitution is established or written. This war breaks out, and suddenly they got to put "In God We Trust" on the coins to make themselves feel better. It didn't show up on the money until 1956, and that was because of the Big Red Scare.
Yeah.
Just a little history for you.
Yeah, that's when it became the motto, "In God We Trust" became the motto.
And
Never was before.
The clip part he said about Obama saying that this is not a Christian nation was taken completely out of context. He continued, if I remember correctly, he continues to say on that our nation is made up of Christians, Muslims, Jews, atheists, Gnostics, and
people of no faith.
A continuing list of a vast variety of different faiths. We're a melting pot. We always have been. We probably, hopefully, always will be.
Yeah.
If everything goes the way it's supposed to, but not if this guy has his way.
Exactly. And there's two things I want to bring out here real quick. First of all, Hagee has this voice of authority. We have always been a Christian nation. Bible reading, praying. Okay. But John Adams signed a document that Congress wrote called the Treaty of Tripoli that says we are in no sense founded on the Christian religion. Who the fuck is John Hagee to tell John Adams and the Congress that they didn't know what they were talking about?
Exactly.
All right, point number 2, and this is something I'm really sick of. I am sick to death of all these people talking about how we're a God-fearing Christian nation, and they'll turn right around and talk about how America's full of sin and is facing the judgment of Christ. Which one is it?
America's full of sin. If you go through all the prisons, you'll find less than 5% of the people that are in prison are atheists.
Yeah, I mean, atheists are way underrepresented.
That means everyone of faith is the one committing crimes?
Or they're the ones getting caught.
Or the ones getting caught. Apparently atheists are just better at whatever they're doing.
Whichever it is.
Which I'm just going to say, I just think their morals are a little bit higher, so they're not going to be doing the things that the Christians that Christians think they can get away with.
Well, another
but I'm not
thing
going to elaborate too much on that.
Atheism tends to be correlated more with education and better income, so that probably plays a role in it too, I would think.
Yeah. I would.
But John Hagee wouldn't know that because, he doesn't know what science is.
No. All right, next part.
Several years ago, witchcraft and Satanism were officially approved by the U.S. military at the direction of the U.S. Congress. We have officially chosen to recognize another God. I call upon the members of Congress to outlaw the practice of witchcraft and Satanism in the U.S. military, lest we offend the God of heaven. I don't care about the atheist.
Okay, right there. The United States has officially recognized witchcraft and Satanism as an official religion in the military.
Yeah, for purposes of dog tags and,
And
headstones.
headstones and
and-
burial rites and rituals, blah, blah, blah.
and for worship.
But then he goes on to say that he doesn't care about the atheists. What do the atheists have to do with witchcraft and Satanism?
I mean, there is a type of Satanism that is atheistic, but still.
Still?
Really?
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 Okay.
Here's my thing. If the God of heaven is so upset about this, why not just let him handle it? Just fuck off and let him handle it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to
He's-
call on Pastor John Hagee to just shut the fuck up, mind your own business, go eat a pulled pork sandwich or something. Whatever that thing is that you do after your sermons on Sunday. I mean, this guy's just, it just makes me so mad. He just like, we don't want you. We won't miss you. Well, guess what, buddy? Because I really believe in freedom of religion.
Mhm.
There's a place here in America for people like him. I support his right to free speech and free religion.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to leave because I think I'm better or more entitled than him. But god damn, if you are going to act this way and try to make tyranny prevail and make us all think like you, why don't you get out? Let's have can we have some kind of exorcism? Can atheists do exorcisms?
I don't know.
Can we exorcise the spirit of bullshit?
That would be a full-time job. I don't know what the pay would be.
I wonder what kind of incense you have to have. What kind of
Something
dance rituals you have. I mean, if
pretty
anybody
strong
knows how
and-
to exorcise bullshit, let us know. We could take a road trip down to Texas and see if we can get him on one of those islands, Because, I mean, jeez. In his version of America, there's room for him and not for anybody else.
It's not.
That's evil.
It
That's
is.
tyrannical.
It is.
That is theocracy.
Mhm.
And he needs to take every one of these little idiots that feels the same way, that wants to deprive people of their rights, whatever their rights are, and they need to pack up and go to their island.
Indeed.
And when they do, all the stuff that they don't like that comes from the atheist, all the medicine and the science and the technology and all the stuff that we do, they don't get to take a bit of it with them.
Exactly.
And then we'll see what happens. How about that? They can just pray.
Well, yeah.
And it just makes me so mad because guys like this, they're not just a shame and disgrace to humanity in general, but they're a disgrace to other Christians too. They're a disgrace, to all the Christians out there who are good, decent people.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, I could sit here and rant about this all night.
Well,
I just really don't like John Hagee.
I
And,
couldn't tell.
alright, well, one more word to John Hagee. Move. Move.
I was gonna say that's the worst cow call I ever heard.
Move.
All right, we're out of here.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Hey, Tweenky, we're not making any money. You sitting around talking to all the customers.
Alright. Well, I guess that's all the time we have for this course today. But keep checking back in with us for our daily specials and appetizers and our main course soon to come.
Main course, what you think this is? 3-star restaurant?